Hey people, yep, you know it, Anthony 4x4 Diesel. This video, quick one, just to talk about something really important, and it can cause some noises and knocking in your engine, bad fuel economy, smoke and all that sort of thing. We've mentioned it before, but it's time to mention it again. It's probably been a fair while. The MAF sensor. How often to clean the MAF sensor? MAF sensor? I can't even talk properly. Anyway, MAF sensor. Manifold absolute, no, what is it? MAF. Mass airflow. See, I don't even know what I'm talking about, because the MAP filter, manifold absolute pressure, let's not get mixed up. MAP filter, MAP sensor. This is the MAF sensor, mass airflow, right? So it's like a king, because it tells the ECU, tells the computer what's going on, how much air is coming through, and of course if it's wrong on what air, what temperature and whatever, any other details, then things ain't going to work right. Now, we're driving the 120 Prado and it's really quiet and it drives really awesome at the moment. And again, if the videos come out in the right order, you might know what I'm talking about, and there's a bit of pre-information in those videos. So, you know, it sort of helps you keep on. That's why it's sort of good to be subscribed. Watch the videos as they come out. One video a day, not a big deal. I think that car wants to sneak across. I'm just going to sit back here and give him a chance, even though I can fit over there. So, the 120, we've got the K&N filter in there. As I said in the other video, it's been in there for years. Never washed it, to my knowledge. Re-oiled it a number of times, and I note that every now and then it gets a bit knocky, and I'd clean the MAF sensor and I'm pretty sure that fixes it again, but I haven't really been taking that much notice. Now what I did this time, it got a bit noisy and it's been worse than ever before, and I'm starting to think, oh no, do I have to change injectors? They're about, 4 years old. Not that it really matters, but that's obviously earlier than what you want to do. That'd be a premature type thing. And basically what we thought was, well, we better tell you about it this time and monitor exactly what we do. So what we did was, first thing I did, because I was getting low on fuel, so what I like to do is run the fuel low every now and then. So I don't normally worry about running it low. I normally like keeping it full, less condensation, and I'm not going to fill up all the time, but like it gets down to half on the 90 litre light and I'll just go and fill it up. I don't run around and do $20, $50 and all this sort of thing, right? So it's every now and then, just keep it full. Now, but the fuel I want to run low to make sure the fuel transfer is working, and that's a separate topic, so I'm not going to go on about that, but the smart people are going, yeah, wise decision. So we ran it down a fair bit. I put some fresh fuel in and I included some Lubrimax diesel. I think it's called Knockout. The product's called Knockout. I don't know if retail people can buy it or whatever. I'm not going to send it in the mail, but if somebody wants some, I keep a bit on the shelf, and you can, when you come and see me for other parts, whatever, you can ask about it if you like. If you've got a September 09 onwards, I wouldn't bother wasting your time or money with any additives. It's just the pre-DLC injectors and the older software system. They can be a bit noisy, and it does help quieten down a little bit by increasing the cetane, but it's not a requirement. You don't have to do it. Just thought I'd put it out there. So, but what I did was I put in a fair dose of the Knockout, probably a little bit more than 1 mil per litre, fresh fuel. Seemed to quieten it down a little bit, but it was still noisy. So I went, okay. Next thing I got to do, back to basics before we did make a call of even plugging in the diagnostic machine to go, what are the injector readings doing and this sort of thing. Because we've got the load in front of us anyway on the scan gauge 2 in the 120. So we already pretty well know that's our main reading where we can monitor where our injectors are at. Remembering it can go up or down, so if it's been a long time, you can't just assume it's going to go up, and if it's okay that your injectors are okay. If it's been a long time, you do need to plug in and check some other readings as well. So went back to the workshop, said, okay, you know what, let's see how dirty this thing is. And you can see that video, go and check it out. It's probably called How to Clean a K&N Filter, or just put K&N on my channel, search my channel for K&N, and all the information you need or something like that, because that's what it is. It goes for about 20 minutes. There's a whole heap of info in there. Demonstration. We got to the point I needed to let the filter dry. I let it sit for a few days, as it turns out, and then we re-oiled it, like spray painting, nice and light. So we did that, and I cleaned the MAF sensor again, and I noticed that it was, fair bit of oil on it. Like I said, I'm definitely severely over oiling the air filter because I want it to work and keep that clean side of the airbox clean, which it is doing much better than any paper filter I've ever seen in comparable conditions. So cleaned the filter, re-oiled it, put it in, cleaned the MAF sensor, I think in that video, started the engine, Took a look at the tailpipe, engine hadn't been run for a week. Not a breath of anything, no smoke, no white smoke, no grey smoke, no any smoke, no moisture, nothing. Started up beautiful and quiet. Stone cold, not run for a week. Gave it a little rev, you know, tap, tap, you know, I'm talking about 1500 revs, 2000, tap, tap. Quiet as, beautiful. Backed it out, under load, bit of accelerator, no problem. Driving forward, no problem. Straight out onto the road, driving it, trying to get some noise out of it. And it was quiet, wouldn't you say, Mitch? It was quiet as isn't it quiet as it's ever been? You haven't heard any odd, because even you heard the knocking noises and that while I was talking about it, yeah? They can't hear you, mate. You got to,
yeah,
exactly. They can't see you nodding, mate. Sorry. It's awesome. You're sitting there flat out nodding, but just so people know you're here. Thanks, buddy. So, and today it's just quiet as, yeah, like normal. It's like a brand new 120. So, how important is it, and how often should you clean that MEF sensor? Well, that's a good question. If you've got a K&N filter and you over oil it like me, probably way more than you want to. It's probably like every 3 months. Like if you do your oil every 5,000 still, which I'm not doing that anymore. I'm pushing it out to 6 months, whatever the kilometers is, every 6 months. So I'm going to do all our cars every winter and every summer. So end of financial year and end of the year, they're all going to get an oil change and a service if they're due. Okay, I don't care about kilometers or time for anything else really. It's just do it by the kilometers. But oil, engine oil, I don't want it in there more than 6 months. Now, if you've done only 1,000 Ks, okay, that's different. If you've only done 1,000 or 2 and you pull your dipstick and you can see how clean the oil is and you want to leave it 7, 8, 9 months, then you go ahead. But you know what we've learned is they've doubled the price of the oil. So I want us to buy less oil. And I'm seeing how clean my oil's coming out, and other vehicles as well, people doing their DIY maintenance. I know oil's cheap, people, but it's just getting to the point that it's a waste. So if you're doing a lot of Ks, push it out to 10,000, your engine will be clean anyway. It just comes down to that EGR thing. As long as you've got that, a lot of people got that EGR turned off or restricted to a minimal flow, which is awesome. So if you've got that, then you'll be right. So K&N filter about every 3 months, something like that, when you do your oil. And if you're doing your oil every 10,000, I'd be just you know, if you notice any noises, any smoke, I'd be monitoring it. Check it every 3 months. If you see that it's clean and it hasn't got oil in it, then you can learn that you don't need to clean it that often. So that's how you need to work out how often you clean the MAF sensor. You need to do it and have a look at it. It doesn't need to be spotless. It can have a light bit of dust on it or whatever. I'm not worried about that, because Toyota in their, you know, their schedule, it's when you change the air filter, you clean the MAF sensor and it's just blow up with compressed air. Perhaps every service, actually. I'd have to go back to the service book and just see what it says, because, you know, I don't take a lot of notice of what they do. I do what needs to be done, not what I'm told. I work it out. I've got my own schedule based on real world experiences, you know what I mean, working on these vehicles. So we do what's needed. And I'll say every service the MAF sensor should be cleaned. Okay, so in a vehicle in general, whenever you clean or service the air filter, you should clean the MAF sensor. And if you've got an oil K&N filter, you might oil it every 6 months, add more oil, whatever, not too much if it's already got on, you're not cleaning it, because you don't need to clean it. That's the thing, it works better, it doesn't block up, it works well, kind of dirty, as long as it's not too bad. We just cleaned ours for the experience. I won't be cleaning it for years, because there was a lot of dirt that came out of it, but it was still working really well. There was no need to. Cleaning the MAF sensor, I believe, is what's done it. So monitor your MAF sensor, clean it. If you see the oil on it, if you see it really dirty, if your air filter's dirty, your MAF sensor needs cleaning. Now this is not just on all the diesels, not just 1KD, 1GD, 1KZ hasn't got one, so you can relax, stop looking for it, it's not there. The petrol engines need that cleaning as well, but the petrol engines, because it's petrol, they need a whole lot more things as well. They need things like throttle body cleans, okay? They get all gummed up. So you need to get your throttle body off and use throttle body carby cleaner, you know, special throttle body cleaner. Clean the mass overflow sensor and the throttle body, the butterfly and all that. Make sure it's all working right, and then take it out and give it a good thrashing on those petrol engines, because they do need it every now and then. Unless you regularly thrash it, then it doesn't matter. I'm not saying everybody should thrash their vehicle around, but some people drive things around a bit slow and a bit soft, and it doesn't help things. They do need a bit of a hammering every now and then. So that's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I've yacked long enough. Isn't that a yakking video? Sharing experiences. It's just like, you know, you've got a position in the workshop watching and supervising and learning. by watching and listening to the videos, just sharing our experiences, trying to help you people. So I hope you get the drift. Just to cap it off finally, I think I've covered it, how often you need to clean it, but you need to be aware of it. Don't over tighten those screws. Be careful with your plug. You might want to remove it every few months, have a look. If you're on road, relax. You can probably leave it for 30,000 kilometers. You don't need to do anything. If you've got a K&N, this is the one that I'm more concerned about, not just from our vehicle, but this is a pattern we have seen. It doesn't seem to be causing any issues, like some people talk of engine codes and stuff like that. It happens on other vehicles, you know, like the 1GDs are a bit problematic with dust and stuff like that. So if you've got a 1GD, you should probably carry mass airflow sensor cleaner, especially on a trip, because if you get, you might need to clean it if you get codes and stuff like that. That's one mistake we made. We didn't have it, but we went into the auto store and got some. We did have that trouble with the old 1GD P0400, so we believe it wasn't getting quite the right reading at the airflow. Anyway, it sorted it out. What else? That's it. I'm out of here. Thanks for listening. Catch ya.